So what did you think of the Rumbles, firstly? Just generally.
Yeah, I feel like everything good in the Royal Rumble event was the first two matches, and then you didn't really need to watch anything after. The Roman Seth match was very good. That finish was awful, but Vince is gonna Vince. I think I I almost bought Seth winning because they subtly built up this story of Roman doesn't beat Seth, and Seth is in Roman's head constantly. Then
Yep,
he brought up the
and
Shield, referenced Moxley instead of Ambrose, which I really liked. Sorry, what are you gonna say?
I, okay. The only reason why I thought that Seth was winning going into it was because my theory, and if you'd seen that wrestling podcast, if you'd seen that um all the different news and stuff doing the rounds and all that stuff, if you looked at all that stuff, you would have seen that one of them was going to lose their title, Brock or Roman, and whoever lost their title was going to go into the Royal Rumble and win it. That was the news going into the Royal Rumble, right? So what people said, along with myself, was whoever, and they probably, and I thought they did this to swerve us personally, but they said whoever wins, whoever the first match was going to be, was going to lose their title. That's what a lot of people said, including
Interesting.
myself, and because what I thought was, and I suppose it makes more sense the way they done it, because obviously that person kept their title, and then they'll go and then destroy the other one, as opposed to the first person's lost their title
Yeah.
and then they've gone in and they've interrupted the other person. It kind of doesn't make sense because they might both lose their titles that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
so I understand why they did it the way they did it, but that was my assumption going in, that whoever goes first is going to lose their title. Plus, as well, usually it's disrespect when the champion doesn't come out first, and it's Roman. So the fact that the champion didn't come out first, and it was Roman Reigns who should really be coming out first. They don't disrespect Roman like that. The fact he came out first, not second, made me think, is he losing his belt? This is the type of thing that makes me think he's losing his belt. But it was only so that my man could come out in the Shield get up. So
Exactly. That's what I wanted to mention. I almost gave Royal Rumble 5 out of 5 for that alone. I was so happy to hear that, and I was watching a live reaction for a bit, and they were theorizing whether he'll come out to the old Shield theme song because of
yeah,
like the little subtleties in Seth's promo work. And when he did, I was so gassed. I loved it. He came out in the riot gear, and it was current Seth. He didn't dye half of his hair blonde. He was still doing all the weird Joker like laughs, and it was coming down through the crowd, which is brave of Seth, considering he got tackled by a fan not too long ago. So I was very excited to see him actually manifest the whole Shield esque presentation. I thought that Vince would have said no to something like that because he hates anything that's creative. But that's kind of why I felt like Seth was going to win. Just Roman was rattled, and since he's come back, he's been untouchable, bulletproof. Nothing phases him. Even Finn Balor, doing dress up didn't phase him. I don't know what happened to that top rope, but Roman Reigns has been untouchable since he came back. And Seth coming back in the old outfit was like a ghost from his past. And that's why I felt like Roman was on the ropes. His title reign was, oh, but I think Roman's the only person that Vince cares about right now in terms of like wrestling. So that title is not going away until it's really time. He'll probably go to Brock Lesnar. The
which
match was
again
really good.
is, which again was stupid. I just don't want them to give the belt to Brock. Brock doesn't need it. He doesn't need it.
No, he
He
didn't
doesn't.
need the Royal Rumble win.
He didn't need the Royal Rumble win. He did. We'll get onto that, but he didn't need the Royal Rumble win, and he doesn't need the rub of beating Roman. The same way how he didn't need the rub of beating Undertaker, it's the same way how he
Definitely
didn't
didn't.
need the rub of beat. That was supposed to go to the Fiend at one point.
I'm glad they didn't do that because that doesn't work for me. I don't buy the Fiend as an Undertaker beater. So I've watched Undertaker's
Yeah, but
interview with Steve
that's
Austin, and
another
I agree
thing
with
though.
that.
That's another thing
Yeah, but
though. We don't
I don't
buy
get
it. We
that.
don't buy him as an Undertaker beater because they didn't present him as an Undertaker beater. Like,
Yeah.
if they presented him as
Also,
that before it happened, then fair. But
mm,
I'm glad they didn't do it. In hindsight, yes. But yeah. But sorry, what was you
well,
gonna say?
the thing is, why it's in ring work is always been, the
Sketchy.
weakest part of his thing.
It's been
For
sketchy. Yeah.
me, yeah, but for me, Undertaker actually said that Roman Reigns should have been the one to break the streak, and I agree with that because they hadn't beat him like 2 years later anyway. I think Roman Reigns should have been the one to beat the streak because then you've got all of that heel heat and you can weaponize it. It would have been star making because Roman was just like the guy out of the Shield. Then still, he wasn't established as a single star. It would have gone a long way to make him someone, and I don't see who else can break the streak. It's not Shawn Michaels and Roman Reigns. But I guess let's talk about this match. It was really good. It was like 60 miles per hour all the way through. It was almost like the best of Seth Rollins. He hit a Shield style powerbomb through the table, hit the buckle bomb, and then he hit the curb stomp. Roman Reigns is really good at the late kick out. I thought that
He's very
I,
good at the late kick out.
I yeah, I bought into that as the finish for a little bit, and after that, I was like, okay, Roman's winning. That's fine. I can take that. They did a very good job of telling the story throughout the match of Seth was in Roman's head because Roman just couldn't get any real offense off. The Superman punch wasn't really working. He got one off late on in the match, but it didn't do the job. And then he got the oh, when he did the spear and Seth reversed it to a pedigree. I thought that was
Pedigree.
amazing.
Woof. That was good.
Very nice. Yeah. As I know how protective Triple H is of that move, so it was nice that Seth hit in a nice little, shout out to him. Um, the guillotine, I've loved Roman Reigns using the guillotine as a finish, and this is where it happened for me because you don't have to have Seth tap, you can just have him pass out,
Pass
and then
out.
the ref
Yep.
call it.
Mhm.
Steph's stock rises in that way because he put a very valiant effort. You didn't need Charles Robinson, who in character is just a terrible referee.
I'm gonna get to that, but go on. I'll get to that, but go on.
Terrible referee. I'm sure he's a nice human being and a nice person in real life, but in the ring, he's a terrible ref. So the way I understood it was he was doing the checking if Seth was still conscious
Mhm.
spot, but mid drop, Seth reached out into the rope, so it looked like that the ref put Seth's hand on the rope to break up the hold.
Yes.
And yeah, from then I'm just like, I don't care about this match.
Ah.
I don't care about the match. It's done for me. Roman didn't let go of the hold. It gets DQ'd. A very good match going on to like a 4 star, and then they just shit on it. What do you think?
I agree. I 100%, and everything that you've said, I 100% agree because I just feel like, so when I watched the match, right, and I thought about it, and I thought about the fact that that they've told a story, right, that Seth is, he's basically psychologically gotten into my man's head. Roman is struggling to deal with everything that's going on, which we obviously saw from the post-match beatdown, like, which is obviously he's done what he's done to emulate the Shield breakup, and
Yeah.
we've seen throughout the whole thing that he's basically gotten into my man's head where Reigns is struggling to wrestle fully. Like, pretty much every match that Reigns has had to this point, Reigns has dominated. Did the odd couple
Mhm.
matches where he's not really dominated it, not really bossed it. Maybe the match against Brock, but he's not really bossed every. It's only them kind of matches he hasn't bossed. Majority of them, he's dominated every match. The Big E match he probably didn't boss that much either. So he's bossed a lot of matches. This match he didn't boss. Like, where the matches where he didn't boss, I would say was either more even, or he was still ahead by a little bit. I would say Rollins was probably ahead in this match. He probably bossed it
Definitely.
more than Reigns did. And
Definitely.
I thought that the story that they told was that Reigns was psychologically gotten to by Rollins, and I feel like that was the story that they told going in and the story that they told in the match. So in that sense, it was good. And like we said, I don't think that Rollins would have lost anything with passing out, because obviously, if you saw when he started doing it as well, he started doing it because he snapped. He had
Mm.
snapped in the match, and that was why he
Yeah.
did the guillotine in the. Yeah, he's trying to get the win, but he snapped And that was why he did the guillotine, and that's why he did it with such force. And then again, that's why he didn't break the hold. So for me, again, like you said, he doesn't lose anything in Seth doesn't lose anything in defeat by passing out, and then they botched the spot because they've gotten too close to the ropes. Where now Charles Robinson's now grabbed his hand to do the spot where you lift up once, you drop it, lift up twice, drop it, and then on the third time, maybe Seth was going to try and hold his hand up and then try and maybe fight it or whatever. Or maybe he was going to pass out, we don't know. But it was right by the ropes, dropped it on the ropes. It just looked like, for anybody that was none the wiser, the referee just dropped his hand on the ropes. And
Yeah.
because at the moment, Rollins is portraying a babyface, he basically portrayed the babyface in that match. He basically portrayed the babyface on Raw. If you said you didn't see Raw, didn't you?
No, I didn't watch Raw. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Horrible.
So Rollins had a, what's that thing called?
I know what happened though.
Yeah, so KO.
He went on the KO show.
He went on the KO show.
He got automatically entered into the chamber,
Mm.
and then KO was like, "Oh, you should protest and get me in there too." And Steph's like, "Nah." I love those two. They're so good.
Steph was like, I want to trust you, but I don't know. Yeah, it was fun. I love them too, man. I rate them too. Like, that's gonna be the match at WrestleMania, man. I love it.
I hope
But
so. They could tell a beautiful story between those two.
but here's what I'm gonna say, and it might be unconventional. It might be a bit controversial, but I think it should be for the title. I know it's not gonna be. And in another extent, I don't really want Lashley to lose it just for him to do it at WrestleMania. But one, this is a brilliant story going into WrestleMania. And two, I feel like KO got done dirty when he should have been going for the title.
Yep.
when it was Jericho.
Yeah.
And so he should be going for the title this time with his Seth, because it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And they see Seth as a big. Not, I'm not saying they see him as a bigger star than Jericho, but obviously Jericho's star had faded by that point. So I understand why they didn't do it, but they've never seen KO as that big star, whereas Seth they have. So do the match, do it for the title, but I know they won't. Like it'll be fun if Seth wins it at Elimination Chamber, and then they do it for the belt. I would love that. Yeah. The alternative is if Randy. Is it Randy? No. Riddle. If Riddle that wins it, and then RK Bro face each other at thingy for the title, that will also be fun. But I don't think they're gonna do either personally. So we'll wait and see. But
wait and see. Those both sound like great matches.
Yeah, I don't know if they're even gonna do the RK Bro match at WrestleMania. I heard they're not gonna do it again.
So what I've heard is some of the people backstage want to split them up, but more people don't want to because they're having so much fun together. I really like them together. To be fair, I don't know. I feel like you gotta make it a bit longer if you're gonna do the whole big Mania match. But who knows? They built matches with 2 weeks build, so they could do it if they wanted to.
Yeah. Oh, again, have to wait and see. On that one.